Studio MSI.
Postmarlonism to me is the never-ending battle of duality between corporate and street, hip-hop and pop, graffiti art and fine art, computer and brain, is basically why I started Studio MSI 20 years ago, is so that we could have a studio that creates beautiful information that lies within the dualities of culture and system. For me, it started at a young age. My father came from African descent, Sudan. My mother came from San Juan Ilocos, Philippines. Therefore, I visually adapted to a world created without a system. And fast forward that to America, Reaganomics, crack, and the end of the Vietnam War were all visual influences for me growing up as a kid. But I'll never forget, I remember it like yesterday. My parents were going through a divorce when I was younger, in between 9 and 10. And I stayed up really late watching Twilight Zone, and after Twilight Zone, of course, into Night Gallery. A show came on, or at least I thought it was a show. I come to find out later in life that it was a movie. But this movie was called Putney Swope. This movie graphically and visually changed my whole visual perception of art as a kid. This spark led me into a world self-taught by my uncles called graffiti culture. Picked a name from an old comic book I like called Dreadstar, and this one character named Skibo always stood out to me. Well, Skibo was my first name, then I eventually changed it to Pika in 1990 when I moved to Oakland. Till I got arrested and I had to create a new duality for myself, which was skateboarding with Louis Nichols, Tony Henry, and Ed DeVera while buying boards from Top Prince. Eventually landed me in a classic skateboard video. But that's another story. In 1990, I applied for the California College of Arts and Crafts my senior year, and this is pretty much where I learned the basic industry of graphic design. It was the next duality level I had to take out of street art into an industry. Being enrolled at CCAC taught me the basic elements of graphic design, typography, photography, and illustration, therefore educating me on the basic tools for visual communication. In the late 80s, we didn't have computers, but we did. But the bee's knees was the Apple Macintosh 2FX computer. And pretty much all we used that was for typesetting. Rapidographs, X-Acto blades, Ruby Lith. It was all mechanical. Due to the technology at that time, my works at CCAC were very minimal. Just collage, typesetting, and basic illustration. But that's the duality, was taking an indigenous design from the past and fusing it with a modern design of the future. As soon as I graduated from college and I left the graphic edge to learn post-production and I left alphabetical structure, I started MSI based on the practices of fusing indigenous and modern design for a great visual. Using these tools allowed us to develop a no-style policy at our studio, which was no style meaning you had all styles. Simultaneously traveling around the world and back home to the Philippines, I was able to hang out with my cousin Rudy Fernandez, who was a watercolor painter. We both noticed that there were a lot of cell phone towers being built in our hometown of San Juan Ilocos, so it kind of gave us a visual epiphany to bring this type of visual awareness to our community.
Basically, my basic need is to be basic. Roam this planet Earth with no search for conflicts, a witness to bliss with handmade linguistics. Never get pissed at animal criminalistics. This is my mission, to sustain a condition, to enlighten and enrich in the organic creation. Intuition is driven on good suspension. A well-set direction, positive connections.
Part of the radio waves emitted by a mobile headset is absorbed by the human head. The radio waves emitted by a smartphone can release microwave radiation induced by electromagnetic fields. A person using a cell phone will cause a heating effect to the surface of the brain.
Henceforth leading me into the duality of street art and fine art. These art projects led Studio MSI to develop workshops, residencies, and lectures based on visual awareness influenced from the indigenous as an educational tool for human healing.
It's incredible. And you know what? This phone thing has been going on for a while. So to see it in a whole new exhibit, yeah.
Eventually, Studio MSI was voted YBCA's top 100 culture maker of the Bay Area based on visual awareness for our modern indigenous future.
We think that futurists are much like artists. They imagine things that we can't necessarily see.
I mean, I think the projects that would come out would be the kind that can actually change the world.
Marlon Sagana Ingram's mobile social beautifully connected. Trailer-like hut with spray paint type mobile phone corporation. Anything to colonize connected.
Beautiful things that happen in the world. But the duality of it is, there's also the harsh. After a decade of album cover designs and flyer designs for 75 ARC, certified records, and creative control, Studio MSI began getting corporate gigs from various clients. The first company was Guthrie Dolan at Ohm Records. After that, we were hired by creative director Jody Radsnick from Morse Outpost to do a lot of illustration projects, which eventually led to working with Jody, Lisa Seaman, and Nolan Bushnell at Fillmore, where we developed a game called Elevators. Soon after the music and .com businesses began to fail, Studio MSI found themselves back into the world of print, working with Kara Brown and Metro newspapers. Our studio's process of getting back into information for the people had us designing newspaper covers for about 5 years. And it was fun. The duality of it is anything systematic and corporate probably not going to last that long. Personally, I wasn't feeling the direction of the projects that we were doing for corporate people, so I just wanted to get back on collaborating, and that's how Kokanika was born. For the first 9 months, Kokanika began selling at Sacrifice, Club Mighty, and the Iron Horse nightclubs. We were contracting corporate gigs during the day and hustling garments where our friends DJ'd at night, even without a seller's permit. This was when Kokanika blasted off. Soon we were selling at Prohibit NYC, Oaklandish, and 88 Tees in Japan, shipping orders of 300 one-of-a-kind shirts per month to these 3 flagships, retailing at $80 per shirt. It was murder. Eventually the shirt industry began to change rapidly, and we couldn't deal with overseas distribution, so we sold the company to a silent NYC investor in 2003 for $30,000. Lastly, we collaborated with Kareem Duran at San Jose Digiprint, and we did the Sassy Truth book. All of the 10-year process of Kokanika and its entire journey, pretty much where I met the principal of Push Dance Company, Raisa Simpson. She asked our studio to collaborate with her on visuals, backdrops for her dance performances, judgment in milliseconds. We were able to collaborate with Bayate Ross Smith and Shem Slobin. It was a really great project which was called Mixed Messages. In the Push Dance performances, I was able to meet Laylan Shepard, a branding director at The Loop. Like, yeah, come and check out some design. We got some products we want to do, and I think the studio could be the studio to do it. So we did. We led into other projects for Compassion Edibles. Mickey Martin was a really great guy for that.
So right now we're joined by Mickey Martin, the author of Medical Marijuana 101.
I mean, even if you put a plant in the ground today, you're still a few months out from patients having access. So, I mean, the reality is that the Department of Public Health has done a pretty shoddy job given, you know, the $3 million plus that they were giving for applications.
Basically, my introduction into the cannabis industry came from Mickey Martin and Jay Anderson. They took us under their wing. Our studio designed everything for their edibles. We did a lot of package design. Eventually got onto a TV show.
Fucking jinx.
That was great. Designing icons that went on each chocolate. Our studio had a really great time. Eventually led into doing video production at Cannabis Planet in LA.
Cannabis Planet.
We just wanted to get back into the creative process, doing our own residency program. In hindsight, this guy, online German artist of American graffiti culture, really into hand style to get Autobahn hiker. The guy on some real dude is highly productive. Graveyard Shift, Black Skater Dude Marlon, Cumbia Town, Barbarian Barbell, Oakland Fitness Company, Nightlight Project, Sideshow, Red Bay Coffee, the Carver Mural. He also developed a font called Grocery and all that. He was definitely a hungry artist. What more can you say? In the Bay where we play. There was a lot of things we didn't know about him, but as soon as we got all these projects going, he was right out the gate. I think he just fell in love with like the American gangster lifestyle, or you know, work the trap or something. We're just trying to do art. We're not really trying to live that life. But something changed in him.
Do you know where Otto is?
Huh?
We found Otto.
Like gagging me, going full fucking balls, you know what I mean? I turned it over, flipped it over.
Yo, hey, turn that camera off. Hold on.
Alright, it's off.
I don't believe I'm fucking doing this. All Vaughn here, straight from the motherfucking UK. Fuck that skinny, fucking West Coast wanker. Fucking slithering me in my motherfucking DM. This motherfucker had me come out here doing a residency. I was like bollocks to this bitch. Fucking murals. Who the fuck is... I'm down. I could come out here, killer Cali mentality, you know? He trying to come on some artsy-fartsy, glossy, fancy shit. I wish him well, and like, God bless that guy. Linked up with an old friend, Kyle Canfield, down at Baylonga Records. He wanted us to help him out with his brands. Pretty much where our studio really got into video and music production. Created a parody character, Black Skater Dude Marlon Project.
Sometimes when I skate, I fall down and hurt my face.
Gave me time to, you know, I got that hot fire. Nah. But it was fun. It was a great time. It was really good. Great project to work on. Cool Kyle and all the group of artists that collaborated with him. I think the Google Bus song came out of all of it.
The national battle over inequality, the rich versus the rest of the population, has taken a curious turn in the San Francisco Bay Area, where buses carrying high-tech workers have become a symbol of the divide.
So feelings are raw. The buses have sparked a nasty debate that has found its way onto YouTube with the satirical Google Bus song.
The ride here was beautiful. I'm on that Google bus, hanging with the upper crust. I left my Porsche up at the condo with my poodle pups. Got on that Google bus.
Solnit and others say the buses are symbols of the disparity in wealth between the new tech workers and the longtime working class residents of neighborhoods.